Yeah, so it's half-plan every year, so it's possible.
Well, because I have 7 million editions.
I probably have said that more than once too. It's other world stories.
So I need to divide what I have.
Well, something like you have used all of this. I like that.
Well, this will be awesome.
I get really funny. I go out there and I'm like, oh, this will be really fun. Everyone's really in character. People fight going, are you ready? Whoa, 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 whoa. I can't do this. All right, ready? Are we ready to go?
Hey, that's going on. Is it? Yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Convention Horror Stories. I'm not actually on this panel, so I'm going to turn it over to Poker Wolf, who is the host of this.
Wait, what?
Your name is on the schedule. You are the host. You can tell stories. You can do whatever you want.
Okay, so I'm Poker Wolf. I'm the director of programming at Fur Reality, October 11th through 14th, shameless plug. And we have a bunch of other conventions straight out of the matter. So,
That's how we do things.
of course,
Don't start another Twitter war.
That's one of the horror stories. We'll get to that one. Is Fur in here? Damn it.
Someone might have been here 5 minutes.
Yeah, true.
so of course we have Alkali here, chairman of Fursquared.
Thank you for remembering the name of my cousin.
That hesitation, though.
That hesitation was
Fur.
awesome. Fur, they all start with Fur. Fur 2, Fur, Carry 2.
Remember the hashtag.
I don't even remember the
That
hashtag.
con held in Wisconsin with art and Pursuits and stuff 2018.
You forgot in February.
In February.
Hold on, I got this.
Let's write
That
this.
con held in Wisconsin during the month of Feb. The character limit.
He tried to put the hashtag as his badge name, and it broke the character limit.
I love how seriously you guys take our badges. Like, thank you for that.
Like, we could just have a normal badge. Pandas? No. Like, the ghost of Fursquared Pass. Capital G-O-H.
One of my friends refused to help out the con in year 1 unless we gave him a very specific badge. Do we have any minors in here? Okay. I'm about to cuss, just so you know. This was the badge he wanted. He wanted Dino-fucking-saurus. And I told him, no, you have to put an asterisk in there. He said, oh, okay, but I can have it with the asterisk. I'm like, yeah, you can have it with the asterisk. So I get to the con, and he's wearing a badge that says the whole thing. No asterisk. What happened? He's like, oh, I lied to them and said it was okay. All right, well, year 1.
That never happened.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Go ahead.
And as former chairman of IFC, and a bunch of other cons, I'm not going to remember them all.
Golden City, and I help here. Apparently I'm staff this year because you guys made me staff for no reason.
You're staff this year?
Yeah, it's on my belt, so I can't think of it. Yeah, I went to register and I'm like, I want to be, a sponsor. And I tried to click it, and it wouldn't click. And I submitted the whole thing, and I'm on Dragor, I tried to submit the thing, and he's like, oh, I sent you a link with a staff comp, so you're staff. We're going to give you stuff to do. I'm like, you voluntold me, you bastard! I got staffed without my permission.
Yes.
And up next we have...
Next we have Ed, who runs some other convention in Ohio.
Ohio.
Sure.
Also, according to the Texas Furry Fiesta con book, I'm the con chair of MCFC now.
That is not technically correct, but according to their company.
Congratulations. It's in print.
It's in print.
Wait, you're a con love seat? When you're chair of 2 cons. I'm waiting to be chair of IFC, MCFC, and Fursquared at once and to be a con couch.
You shouldn't say those things, Pandas. You will.
So.
Keep going to be a con section.
Poutine in the sponsor's house! It does.
This one
It
does?
is pretty good.
And finally, I don't remember your actual names, and if you were... Beaky McBeakface! From Anthrocon, I believe.
Yes.
Director of Logistics at Andrew.
I gotta learn people better.
I am the director for logistics at Amazon. I hate all of it.
I absolutely love any director of logistics. Like, what do you do? Like the rest of them are like, oh, I'm the con chair, I'm finance director.
I'm the director of logistics.
Because basically what that means is, I once crashed a truck.
In the river.
So how's your truck?
Waterlogged.
Wait. Actually, I thought that was just a story.
Later.
Well, that's certainly
Hey,
one of
it doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about the books.
Before we get into any of the actual stories, we should take a quick poll. Who here, this is their first time coming to a convention board?
I could find
Good, as long as there's a few.
a few new people. Okay. Guys, this is a panel where we're going to tell you about the insanity that happens behind the scenes. It's not easy running cons, but on the other hand, it's not impossible until this crap happens. Then it goes from, oh, we're having a good time to, oh, cyanide is available through Amazon. No, not your con yet. You order it during your time.
Our con theme next year is bitter almonds.
That's great.
Our con already had the apocalypse theme.
Oh. Well, it's your panel, so why don't you tell the first story?
So, I'm going to break that 2-year rule we have.
Okay, why bother having this rule if all you guys are like, yeah, yesterday something happened. We have a rule against telling these stories, but screw it.
Because we forget them after 2 years.
Yeah. So last year our theme for reality was the apocalypse. And, you know, our hotel, they loved us so much, they really wanted to get into the theme. So in the middle of closing ceremonies, they decided to make it rain outside and have a ceiling tile filled with water collapse right by our AV lead at the time.
That's the best part already.
Correct me then.
Hi, I'm the best part. This is at our closing ceremonies. We do a storyline throughout the whole convention, and we do every year. It's a story that we involve the attendees in. Well, during the storyline, at this exact moment, the world is about to explode as part of the apocalypse. And that moment is set. And we're all up in fursuits on the stage, and we go, the world's about to explode! Crash! Let's go! That's part.
You guys got good luck. Man, these special effects are amazing.
Yeah, special effects. That's special effects.
That CGI drink.
That's CQ. As a lot of you know, I don't just run furry conventions. I also used to run, I helped run a campsite. There was a music venue there. We did a lot of stuff. And one time, I had what at the time counted as a pyrotechnics license, but I later found out was something I hand wrote and laughed at people with. Whatever. So they wanted a little display. They were going to light a huge bonfire. Gigantic. Okay? They took a stump that we had in the field, asked if they could set the bonfire around them. Sure, it's in the field. What's that going to matter? They took every piece of brush they could find and built a pyramid with the base of it being this stump. And what we didn't know is they then, by the way, don't do this, went to the parking lot and started siphoning cars. Oh. So they took gasoline and right before they lit the fire went, and then the next day no one got to go home. But I had built them a small pyrotechnics display just out of arrogance. Those, 4th of July, pretty. Well, what you can do with stuff like that is instead of putting it into the normal canister, you know, the cardboard tube shoots stuff in the air because of the pressure underneath it. I built my own and actually had a little bit of air at the bottom. I let it release some of the air. I didn't want it to go way up in the air. I wanted it to go about 20 feet. Now, I've done it before. It's fairly common. I thought I knew what I was doing. And would have worked, too, if it weren't for those meddling kids. Because I had set this thing up. I had lit the slow burn fuse so that they would have time to light the bonfire. They go forward, start splashing stuff on the bonfire, as me and the person who owned the camp are like, that's gas. They're throwing gas on the fire. Oh God! And Chloe can run over to them with a flare gun. Bang! Boom! Sticks everywhere, which the concussive force of knocked over my apparatus, so then it just shot 8 aerials about 40 feet across the ground into a campsite where luckily no one was. And just explosion! Explosion! No!
Betty.
And every single person there lost their breath. Like, yeah! They complimented us for, we like, that was such a great display. Like, you couldn't kill people. Like, yeah, but everything went according to plan.
Don't do this.
Don't siphon cars for explosives. That's
let's see. What else shouldn't people do? You know,
Didn't we once get a water feature?
I know, but we pulled that over.
We have told that.
I'm trying to think of another.
Oh, there was only, yeah.
There was the time Alkali supposedly died. And it was due to water, ironically. We'll abridge it.
Okay, yeah.
So this was one of the early MST3Ks at IFC. And we had picked the faculty. Oh, wow. One of the rules was anytime there's water on screen, drink. There are water fountains. It rains in every second scene. There was a lot of water.
We didn't watch the movie beforehand. Normally that would be like a $100, $200 rule. Like, how often could water show up? $20? Sure, and then we almost die.
So about halfway through, this gentleman gets up to use the facilities. And then he doesn't come back. About 20 minutes later, our head of finance at the time, Todd, comes kind of scuttling into the room kind of quickly, taps me on the shoulder and goes, "Come with me." And I'm like, okay. So the head of finance takes the head of, what was I, head of programming at the time? Like out of the room 20 minutes after he disappeared and didn't come back. And as we're walking through over to the elevators and Todd is explaining to me what had happened, there was an ambulance parked outside. Well, apparently someone had decided to do what we were doing and have a few drinks. But instead of laughing at a movie, they decided to take their aggression out on 4th floor light fixtures. They were walking down the hall, punching light fixtures at random. It happened to be that our con chairman was also on the 4th floor. And he really likes wrestling. So he poked his head out the door and saw the guy and go, "Hey, what are you doing?" And instead of having a response that was verbal, tried to punch the con chairman, who likes wrestling. I don't know the specifics of exactly what happened, but I know that when Dorsey had apparently, on his way back from the restroom, grabbed Alkali to go upstairs and help with the situation. Alkali, why don't you describe what happened on the 4th floor?
I got up to the 4th floor to see our convention chairman sitting on a congoer, holding one arm behind his back while the congoer who's on his face is just kicking him randomly in the back, just his legs flailing. And Roxas looks at me with this shit-eating grin on his face like, this is awesome! And there are broken light fixtures everywhere in the hallway. What did you do? He's like, I don't care, hold his legs.
The attendee got the medical care that they needed.
Yes, they did.
And we went downstairs and discussed everything. And the next day, everyone was going up to Alkali going, you disappeared from the movie. And we saw the ambulance. It's so awesome that you made it back here today. Surprised they let you out. And we just rolled with it.
Oh, yeah. Yep, I'm a trooper.
The rule is, don't punch light fixtures on the fourth floor.
Can we do it on the third?
No.
No. Don't punch light fixtures on any floor. That includes the basement. The basement is the floor.
Also, don't throw raves in my basement.
That's a different story.
Don't hold that! That was terrifying! Here's the shortest convention horror story you'll ever hear. Year 1, Thursday. The con hasn't even started yet. And the hotel comes up to me like, are you throwing a rave in your basement? And what? I ran downstairs, and there is a bunch of furries doing the thing from Strong Bad with the lights. They have a boombox at full blast and are whipping glow sticks at each other. I have a ring and go, what are you guys doing? And they looked at me and said, the system is down!
The furries are grounded.
I found out about that the next morning when you asked me whether I'd been there.
Yeah, I was ready to murder everyone. Yes.
Ed, what's your story?
I have another rule. Con staff are not exempt from the code of conduct, and you should listen to the safety team when they tell you that. So Morphicon a few years ago had a really nice plasma sword in their auction. If you've ever played Halo, it's this glowy, pointy sword with a hilt that you hold onto this blade here, and then it curls around your hand. It would form like a little aura. And it was, I don't know what to do to the metal, but it was very shiny and reflected different colors as you wave it around. It was neat, pretty. So I managed to win it in the auction and proceeded to carry it around. Now, our rules state no weapons. And when safety team confronted me, they said, you need to put that in your car, that's a weapon. I was like, no, it's a prop. It's a fake sword from a fake video game. And it's not even sharp. Look, I could do this on the blade all day, nothing happens. They were very insistent, but it was Sunday and I was tired, and so was I. So I proceeded to wave it around, so much so that that nice curved hilt dug into my hand and cut me. And then I just looked at my hand, and they just didn't say anything and looked at me, like, I'll go put it in my car. That came later.
And what about you down there?
This one time we called you Beefy Face and you murdered everybody.
Yes, but it stuck.
I will own all your souls.
You can find him on Twitter at
Come
Beefy
forth.
Face.
I'm a necromancer. I can do these things. I drove a truck off a bridge. No, wait.
Can we get the longer version of that?
That wasn't me. But I had to take responsibility because I'm the director.
Right.
Yes. No, we got all the stuff from Anthrocon, from our storage facility. And this year, it just so happened to have a lot more of it. So our truck was kind of, we thought we got the right truck. And then we realized that the axle was digging into the asphalt. Yeah, wait. Yeah, we had overloaded it with only half of what Anthrocon has. By the way, we have a semi this year. It's great. I don't have to drive it.
You also have my favorite toy that any conventions own, your indoor ATV.
Yes, Mike Cushman.
They gave him a little car to drive around back of house at Anthrocon.
It's
and
fun.
he was my taxi service all weekend. Until he found out that you don't need to go from speed 0 to speed 1 to 2 to 3 to 4. He realized that you could just hit it into 4. Well, I was sitting backwards on the thing, and then I wasn't in the thing. And I looked over at him, and he's just like, "Oh my God, are you okay?" Like, I'm so drunk I won't feel this till tomorrow.
We have surveillance footage of that incident.
Put it on the YouTube channel.
No! I'm sick of my coworkers finding things on YouTube.
Send it to Bob Saget.
It's right up there with you going.
There's an actual, it's on YouTube, a video. They were taking a video of their dealer's den, which is why he has their dealer's den is an airplane hangar. He has to move a ton of stuff around. He needs this thing. And in the middle of the shot, they're just filming. This guy's on the back of the cart.
My legs are just going.
Because that's how we decompress at conventions, by being silly. Always be silly.
What about some, let's do some quick fire, some radio calls.
I don't think you finished the truck story.
Oh,
No, it's finished.
Truck on fire, into lake, less fire. See? Solutions. Okay, so the classic, the quick fire radio calls. I don't have my radio on me right now because I broke it. Because that's what happens at conventions.
I ran it over.
Thank you. And my replacement is in the back of the room, so I don't have to use it yet. Things happen on the radios, but you need call signs, you need code words. You try to be as quick and precise as possible, but sometimes that falls by the wayside. So guys, what are those gems that have come across the radio while you were on?
There are drugs in the water. DuckTales.
Hey, is the fire out yet?
This is the convention chairman. Do you mean the barbecue pit?
Yeah.
Call it the barbecue pit. This is Con-Stored Operations. We need more poppers out here.
Do you mean those little rubber jumping things?
Yes, we do.
Please call it the little rubber jumping things.
Motor City. Myself, this gentleman, and our head of legal, sitting there, relaxing, very late in the day. Should we do something about the person juggling fire on the back patio? We look at each other. We look over at the lawyer, who then goes, Bismarck, going off radio.
We have a, oh no, I'm sorry, that's not, sorry. This is security to charity? This is charity, go ahead. We have a half-naked charity bear laying on the information counter. Please advise. This is charity going off radio.
Hey, I found a needle. All of safety team suddenly grabs their hazmat suits, rushes out the door, and then the contractor goes, "Give me a sewing needle." Safety team walks back in looking just so sad because they've been bored all weekend. It's a good problem to have.
Security. Is there a jumper on the roof?
Oh, right.
Oh boy.
I remember that story.
If you can tell it, I don't know this one.
We cannot. I cannot.
There are certain stories we cannot tell.
We can hint about them, but we
Yeah.
can't tell them.
Yeah, there are names. There's actually, like, this panel was a really weird one when we first started it. We had to sit down and, like, what can we say, what can't we? And this was before Boozy was part of the fandom, so there was a lawyer present. He's like, no, you should not do this panel. But by the end of it, we were all crying, laughing so hard at each other's stories. Like, well, we're doing it. We'll just try not to go to jail.
Go to jail for what?
For revealing names and things that we should not be talking about.
We renamed him Mr. Orange.
Yes.
Because he would wear orange. This Jay?
I'm trying to think of the other radio calls.
There is a smell in the second floor hallway.
Oh.
Can you please describe the smell? It's very leafy.
So, I'm not going to say what con did this, but this was an incident I had to deal with. Furries are brilliant. And so many of you are engineers. It's incredible. And apparently, somebody used their engineering knowledge. They found a way to turn off the smoke detector in the room. I don't know what they did, but it was not going to get the smoke. And then they took their homemade fog machine and hotboxed the room in the worst skunk marijuana that you could ever possibly smell. And the cloud in the room was so dense, like hotboxing, if you don't know what that is, it's a stupid thing you do where there's so much hot smoke in the room that you're getting what they call like a contact eye. There was so much smoke in this room that they had to get out of the room because they couldn't stop coughing. It was basically they were just smoking nonstop. And in the hallway, they had put a wet towel under the door. It got through and was slowly seeping into the hallway, but I guess it was colder, so it was a ground fog of And I get called up there by one of the security from the hotel, not our security, hotel security, like, we need to go deal with this. And we go up there, and this guy takes one look, and goes, oh my God, we are confiscating that. I'm like, yeah, we're definitely confiscating that. Like, no, I'm taking it home with me. And by the way, the finisher to that story, use your heads. Think of what wall the toilet is next to, and if you're going to flush all your drugs, make sure it's not the wall sharing the wall with the door that we're standing at. So we hear you flush 30 times, we know what's going on. 831.
Security to hotel security. This is hotel security. Should we call the FBI bioterrorism group here?
Dear God.
Oh.
You need to stop. You need to go to smaller cons. Our problem is pot. Your problem is ISIS?
My car's
No.
This person is in the pool area.
Oh.
Or an entire hotel that smells like a pool.
That was good.
And then the Potiphar, which is actually at a pool.
I like that pool. They have a swim-up bar. Oh, there's a convention horror story. They ran out of tequila at the swim-up bar at a Quantifer. They had to swim to get more, and I thought it was the funniest thing I've ever I didn't know. A swim-up bar doesn't mean they're in the water. A swim-up bar is like cordoned off, so behind the bar it's totally dry. But for some reason, their storage closet was on the other side of the pool, and we were laughing, and she thought it'd be funny, so she just slid across the bar into the pool and went and got me more tequila, and I lost my shit. Clever had a swim-up bar. Who the heck was awesome?
Wrong question.
I had a swim-up bar hotel. And then, of course, my friend has to ruin it. He's like, you know, most of these people haven't got out of this pool for the last 3... Oh. Stupid swim-up bar. 4 more drinks and I'm out of here.
Should we do anything about the people drinking in the dealer's room? Who is it? The con chair? You didn't know about that?
No!
Wow.
Sometimes we keep things from other staff members to reveal them at the most opportune time.
Like when the chairman of MCFC is drinking in the back of the dealer's room.
We have a balcony, and we had at one of our hotels at IFC. We had this weird balcony. Obviously, when they designed the hotel, though, I had this little extra space, so they just put a balcony overlooking their main floor. And this guy was having a rough day. I was having a rough day. And when your friend is having a rough time, you take care of each other. So I brought a 12-pack of Angry Orchard, and he likes the Sinful Apple. We sat down, he's like, you know, this is so tough, everything is different. I know, drink. And we sat up there, and we spent, every time we talked, like, are you talking? Drink! Drink! And we started going through bottle after bottle, and both of us had just slammed 3 Angry Orchard, whatever they were, forgetting that everyone down below could see us. And all of a sudden we get open the door, and there's security. Hey guys, it's a dry con. It's like, yeah, that's why we're drinking up here. He goes, hey guys, enjoying the show? And like 5 people, yeah! So we screwed up drinking at the con.
What's this thing that's a dry con?
Yeah, that exists.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Dry cons totally exist. You know how? I don't.
Coffee cup.
Coffee cup. Oh, there's the story. Remember that one? Guys, one of my all-time favorites because it shows me how wonderful furries are, because we could have done something terrible and they deserved it. MFF, years and years and years ago, we were at a hotel for only 2 years. This hotel did not like us. They made it known that they did not like us, and now as a convention, we would never start off the convention by saying, hey guys, this is our last year at this hotel. We wouldn't do that. You don't do that. They did. The hotel told all the furries, they were making very well known that they weren't going to be back at this hotel next year. And then they hired outsourced security to be walking around on the convention floor who were legitimately harassing the fursuiters. They were harassing people, they were harassing the fursuiters in the guise of we're doing our jobs. It was not appropriate, and it was getting under all of our skins. But the furries, they found a way. And they did it right. Because the thing that was going on most was they were sniff checking every coffee cup that walked by, trying to find any source of booze whatsoever. So, 2 gentlemen in pup hoods decided that they'd had enough. So they started walking around with their coffee cups. An officer stopped them in the middle of the hallway. Son, gonna need to see that. Absolutely, sir. He hands him that. The guy takes off the lid and takes a big old whiff of the cup filled with urine. They stopped bugging us after that. We got out of that hotel, but I'll always remember that because that was the greatest form of passive protest that I had ever seen. I was so proud of that. Yeah, we don't talk about that last one. The guy is still around, and he asked me not to tell that part. He took a sip. So, not calling him out on it. Dude, best passive protest. Sometimes you go too far. All right. I told you guys got to.
So, our convention has interesting time dealing with our own staff members sometimes. Right away, the first thing that comes to my mind is the phrase punishment tacos. So, the Fur Reality staff was having a bag stuffing party. Basically, we were all together just stuffing bags. I wasn't there, so I'm probably going to mess parts of the story up. They were stuffing bags, and there's our board, our director of operations at the time, Epoch, who goes, you know what, you've all done great work, you've been working really hard, I'm going to go to Taco Bell, I'm going to grab some tacos. Anyone seen the con chairman? No? Okay, whatever. So he goes to Taco Bell, and it's about noon, so just before the lunch rush, and he goes inside and orders 50 tacos. And the woman decides to take forever to make them. Grabs a burrito shell, puts the meat, lettuce, cheese inside, wraps it up, puts it in the box. 1. I'm not going to do all 50. So, he gets back, it takes him forever, he gets back to the place, everyone's enjoying the tacos. They eat all but maybe 3 of them. They still have no idea where the con chairman at the time tack is. Right after they finish, they'll hear the door open, and in comes the con chairman tack, saying, "Hey guys, I got tacos." They couldn't eat anymore. But they need to get rid of these tacos. Hey, you forgot to add a comic book into the sponsor's badge. Eat a taco. Punishment taco. And they would all just sit there and stare at them until they ate the entire taco. That got rid of about 10 tacos. Then next thing you know, that wasn't going to be doing enough. You know, you're doing a really good job. You're getting through all these real fast. Here's a reward taco. They eat so many tacos, they get a little slap happy. And that's when they decided, hey, that's when Tack decided, hey, I'm done being chairman. Epoch, you're chairman now. To which I get a text message at an IFC retreat saying, and I quote, "Hey, poker, I stage a coup."
Your convention is silly.
Yeah, what's the sense?
And a bunch of tacos.
We do.
We have a train.
It is a silly thing.
We did some silly things the first time we did a convention. 10 years ago was the first furry con that I worked at, Furry Connection North. And now, it was quite dumb of me to volunteer to do registration on Friday morning, but I'm learning and we needed help, so I did registration. And as I'm sitting there, a gentleman walks by carrying a shotgun inside. Now, this is already a bad situation. I had the bright idea of, I'm going to go follow that guy and see where he goes. So I followed a man with a shotgun who I'd never seen before out to his car. He turned around, and by that point I had picked up 1 or 2 security members along the way. And he just looked at us, looked down at his hand, and said, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that, should I?" Oh. It turned out to be a paintball shotgun, but it certainly looked like a real one. So I put it in his car, went back inside, and then security looked at me and said, "You shouldn't have done that either." Don't follow people around. Don't follow strange people around that have guns in general.
That's the thing. First year cons, we have the weirdest problem first year because a convention is almost a living, breathing thing. They each take on their own personality. Fursquared year 1 had a lot of personality. Basement raves. And then the dogs. Because the first year we had to share this hotel with a group of teen cheerleaders who were in town for a competition. No. Well, that night, they had done their competition during the day, and apparently one of the teams that was staying at our hotel were the champions. So they were kind of celebrating. They were walking around, and they were interacting with the fursuiters. Now, the girls, the younger kids, were really enjoying themselves, and you could tell, and the parents could tell, because they were standing back and kind of letting it happen until 9 o'clock hit. Now, 9 o'clock at Fursquared, a lot of adult paneling starts up, usually downstairs in one of those panel rooms, which we're mostly adults here. I have no problem with those panels until the dogs. 2 people. One of them on my board of directors, and one of them a very close friend of mine. came walking downstairs in leather pup hoods, leather harnesses, leather pants, and a young child looked over at them. And without prompting, the mother reached down to put her hand on the child's shoulder and said, "No, no, honey, don't touch those doggies. They're dirty." So I had a long talk with them, and they took me so seriously that from that point on, they used to run a panel here for the pups called "Don't Touch Those Doggies, They're Dirty." Conventions have their own personalities.
At least those dogs weren't carrying cups.
Very true.
Oh.
The personality of early FCN was pretty much just partying and a little bit of wanton destruction. We were very good at knocking out light bulbs and light fixtures. We liked to blend things.
You idiot!
Oh, we looked good. The second time we tried to do blends, it worked great the first time. Almost everything blended except for the Barbie. No, it was a My Little Pony. That's what it was. It was My Little Pony.
Well, friendship is magic.
It was magic. But the next year, the blades, or the pulverizing force of the blades had been turned down by the product that the company was making. So, probably because people were blending stupid shit in their blenders. And batteries are fun. So, a lot of the pulverizing force was substituted by a volunteer with a baseball bat next to the blender. Oh, this won't blend. Here you go. Over the course of this panel, we had 2 carafes, and one of them broke. So someone had the bright idea of, here, can you pulverize this carafe for me? You know, baseball bat, wham, 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 a few times. They put the pieces of that blender into the other blender. And fortunately, the shrapnel went backwards instead of forwards and only cut a hole in the pipe and drape behind us. Didn't tell them there was a hole in it.
That's right. Sometimes we're the ones that cause the problems. I felt really bad after IFC last year. We have a beautiful room that we use for operations with a bar in it. So I declared every year that our after party is in operations because it has a bar. And I brought champagne. It was a good con. Like, thanks guys, you were wonderful. Pop, ceiling tile, bam!
The world's falling apart, we have to go.
I drank that champagne. It was a disaster. Yeah, but you know what? That was my revenge on IFC. IFC treated me poorly this year because I am the finance director. And I apparently have a lot of problems with insurance, especially at IFC.
That was the year before.
It was both.
That's why we need more money.
Oh, God. There's back. That is my director of AV did that to me once. We were sitting there, long-ass meeting. We are done. We want this to be over. And he goes, oh, I still haven't talked about the new soundboard. And I looked over to dead eyes, coffee in my hand, and he went, Alkali, I need more money. And I spilled my coffee everywhere.
Was it as good as donut?
Cupcake. I do the insurance for IFC. 2 years ago, I had to get insurance for a pair of Ferraris that were going to be in the lobby on display. I got the insurance months out. A week before the con, now it's my time to get paperwork done. So I'm reading through all the paperwork, I'm reading through the hotel contract, I'm reading through the insurance policy, and lo and behold, I'm looking at a line in it, and it didn't say cars for display in the lobby. It said cars for racing in the lobby. writer, hey, this line is in there. Why? Like, oh, we have no idea. You guys are crazy. We're not going to race Ferraris in a hotel. Like, yeah, that was confusing to us too. This is really going to help the premium. So wait a minute, hold on. You thought we were going to race Ferraris in a hotel? It's like, well, you said you were furries, right? Yes. Well, you guys are wild. If you ever have to get a hotel contract, it's really weird. There's a questionnaire in the middle. So you tell them what you're doing, you get all the stuff set up. In the middle, there's like 20 questions, like, will you serve alcohol at your event? No, we don't serve it, the hotel does. You know, will you be shooting anyone out of a cannon? Like, there's a few questions. One of this is a real question. Will there be a bounce house or bounce castle at your event?
Oh, it's only.
Like, no, there won't be one of those. I'm sitting in operations at IFC. And this guy comes in, and I hear him talk. He's like, I can't believe Christopher set up his bounce castle behind the stage. What? And I ran. It was a flabulence. Just full speed of me running. I get back there, and he set up a full bounce castle behind the stage. There's kids playing in it. They're like, I have to shatter your dream! Like, dude, is it really that important that we shut it down? Yes! Our contract is void right now! I have to bribe children! You didn't see nothing! Here's a My Little Pony that wouldn't blend. And he drove past in his car.
At least the next year the Ferraris were small enough to race through the lobby.
They tortured me the next year by telling me they're going to have Ferraris again. They had a picture of the Ferrari going into a storage container. I'm like, I don't have this in the insurance. This is a disaster. What are we going to do? Yeah, it was a doctored photo of a fucking micro machine that they had just put next to the lens and had been photoshopped in. They gave him a bunch of little mini cars as me and him like, we don't know what to do anymore. And then we wanted to cry.
Hey, I'll go on.
Yes.
Our insurance has racing Cushmans in there now. We're getting another one.
You're getting a second.
I believe so.
I'm getting one. I need it for panels purposes. We're going to have a panel called Alkali Falls Off a Vehicle. Just so I get the car.
So, if we get a third one, and I could drive a fursuiter around the city, we'll talk.
So I'm trying for our Canadian Innovation team
Yep.
to try and rent a Zamboni for rides around the parking lot. So you might want to check on the insurance for that. I don't know what will happen, but just thought I'd warn you. On stage.
I'm waiting for him to be like, I'll just take it up the stairs and careen through the stage at 5 miles an hour. And I'm just standing in back throwing money at Bravo.
So, I wasn't staffed at this con, but there are things you can do at Canadian conventions that you can't do at American conventions, eh? Like, when you have a faction from another convention disrupt your opening ceremonies, much as you always have, by bringing in a suitcase bomb that they manufactured from computer parts they had lying around.
What?
Camp Farrell sent representatives to the opening ceremonies of the first condition, and they said they were going to blow up the hotel if they did not get what they wanted. Opened their briefcase, and it had video cards and a flashing light and a timer. Dude! Canada! We all thought it was amazing.
What did they want?
I don't remember. There was a lot of drinking.
Oh my God! Kage and myself were auctioneers where we were running the charity show. And actually, there's more to the story now that you don't know about.
I don't know. I treated the guy after he went.
Oh, I know. That you know.
I wanted that.
So they auctioned off a shock collar.
For a dog.
For a dog. And a couple won it. And the youngest skinny one.
Don't cut it short.
I wanted to cut it short.
Because this guy is done in the full, like you said, dirty dog.
Yes.
Okay? And he's so excited, he puts a $50 bid on it. And Kagi says, do I get 75? And the same guy looks up and says 75. And Kagi looks up and goes, sir, you're bidding against yourself. Okay.
So he came up to the stage, and as he's walking up, he asked Kagi, like, oh my God, does it actually work? And Kagi's like, I believe so. And he grabbed the remote, put it to his neck and hit it. And then fell to the floor. And honestly, I've never seen Kage speechless before. And just staring at him, this gentleman helped out the youth and just took care of the whole problem, and the audience was just loving it. So, what's up?
Clean up on aisle.
Yes, very much so. 2 years ago, I was at a convention, and I had a bunch of people playing King's Cup with me. And one of the games was Never Have I Ever. And somebody at the table is like, never have I ever shocked myself with a dog collar. And this kid puts down a finger like, oh my God, it's you!
I wanted that shock collar.
Yeah, dude, we hung out all night. That kid is hysterical.
I need the remote.
What's up?
I need the shock collar.
No.
I do.
5 minutes left. Who's got the last
For
word?
my staff.
I would just like to give a quick thank you to all the attendees who were at Furry Alley last year, because we had no attendees injured last year during the convention.
Oh, wait, yeah.
The key word there is attendees. We had, right after closing ceremonies, we had a safety team member who I shall refer to as Moon Moon.
Oh, God.
Who was going footless through the lobby, slipped in a puddle of water, and slammed his elbow down on the floor. Safety team was bored all convention. That's a good problem to have. Please don't take that away from them. So they broke out every single ice pack that they had brought to the convention and duct taped it to his arm.
He was the Terminator, just this big old one. Like, ah! All right, guys, let's finish it off with any quick fires that you remember.
Oh, I got one.
What do you got?
I got one. So I'm unloading the truck, and we have some pretty heavy stuff, and I get this volunteer who says, I would love to help you. And I'm going, great. Why are you barefoot?
We had someone come into security Sunday morning and said, there is a man in the artist's alley, and he grabbed my breasts. And I don't remember which door side I was on duty, but someone said, okay, can you describe him? We'll have a talk with him. He's bleeding from the forehead because I hit him. Thank you very much. We will take care of it.
I'm driving to Anthrocon. It is Wednesday, and I get a text message, which does not happen often, from Uncle Kage. He says, I have a pair of breasts in my lost and found. Apparently, someone had gotten into an altercation with the police, and they needed to take her down. And as Uncle Kage puts it, during that moment, her ghibli bits went flying through the air. And they didn't know what to do with them, so they put them in lost and found.
They later were submitted for evidence.
Yes. I almost crashed my car because I do not read texts as I drive because I drive too much and I'm too tired. So Xander read that out loud to me. He's like, oh, it's from Uncle Kage. Oh, what does it say? He has breasts in his lost and found. We gotta get there faster!
That's not the only time we've had a convention interfere with your driving. An early MCFC meeting, we were using a program called Zillow to conduct meetings.
Oh my God.
It was awful.
I hate you.
It was awful, but it's basically like a push-to-talk app. And halfway through the meeting, we just hear a new voice say, my car is talking to me and I don't know what's going on right now.
Bluetooth was hooked up, all of a sudden there are people yelling at me through the radio. And they're talking about topics I'm familiar with. I'm like, what radio station am I on? And I talk to myself constantly, so I thought, my car is talking to me. Alkaline?
Horror stories. We love telling these stories. We hate getting them. Please stop giving us stories to tell.
This was examples of what not to do. Also, don't use cell phone. Guys, we're going to go down the table. My name's Oakline.
Poker Wolf.
Pandas.
Hyena at that con held in Wisconsin during the month of December.
And Pinky McBeakface. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much and good night!
Poker weapon.